morning. My name is Betty P. Kunyaman. I am a faculty of College of Nursing. This video is meant for my student nurses, those who are coming from home when the college restarts. So what are the different precautions that has to be taken by a student nurse when he or she come back to the college and to the clinicals? About the disease aspects, I hope all are familiar with the COVID-19. You may be knowing the history of the coronavirus. It is not something new. Now the genetic variant, that is novel coronavirus 2 in 2019, and when we look into the mode of transmission, the main mode of transmission is droplet and then fomite borne. These are the two major modes of transmission. So droplet, we may be knowing, that is if somebody cough, sneeze, talk or shout or sing within 1 meter, if that person is a COVID positive patient, that droplets will be transmitted through the air into the new person. Then if the droplet fall on any surfaces and another person touches that contaminated surfaces, and after that he is touching his eyes, nose and mouth, he will get that infection. So that is fomite-borne infection. So these are the two common modes of transmission. Then we look into the type of presentation. This disease, in some people it is asymptomatic, in some it is symptomatic, in some patients it will cause only mild illness, in some patients it will cause moderate illness, in some patients it will cause severe illness, and in some people it may cause different complications and even may result in death. So 85% of the patients will be developing asymptomatic mild or moderate infection and they will be recovered, and only 15% will go into severe illness, and in that only 5% require intensive care. When we look into the incubation period, 5 to 6 days is the incubation period, with a maximum we are considering it as 14 days. And period of infectivity, it is more when just before the symptom onset and just after the symptom onset. That is 3 to 5 days before the symptom onset and 3 to 5 days after the symptom onset, the disease will be highly infective. High viral shedding is reported in this period. Then when we look into the clinical features, you may be knowing, just like an upper respiratory tract infection, there will be fever, running nose, headache, body pain, and this cough, breathlessness, etc. And some other features also will be there, like loss of taste, loss of smell, etc. Then about the diagnostic test, you may be knowing, that is RT-PCR and rapid antigen test, antibody test, etc. And RT-PCR is the most specific and sensitive test, and the definitive test, there will not be much error in that when comparing with the other tests. Then about the management, asymptomatic does not require any management. Mild and moderate cases, if they are having symptoms, symptomatic treatment is enough, and severe cases only require oxygen therapy or sometimes non-invasive ventilation or sometimes endotracheal intubation and mechanical ventilation. And in those who are having comorbid illness, they are at high risk for developing different complications of this COVID-19, and they will go into a fatal outcome if it is not identified and treated properly. Then another important factor is rapid clinical deterioration of the condition. So whoever is there in the home isolation or in the CFLTC must be monitored for any deterioration in the clinical features. That is very, very important. Then about the precautions that has to be taken. When you take care of your own health, you must remember that you are responsible for your own personal health. You have the 100% responsibility to take care of yourself and protecting yourself and avoiding exposure to infection. So that is very, very important. You will be getting exposed to so many people, maybe your roommates or classmates or teachers, So in the clinicals, you may be exposed to patients relatives and hospital staff, and you are exposed to so many contaminated surfaces. So it is your responsibility to take care of yourself and uh, follow the SMS, that is sanitize your hand very often, and you wear mask properly and maintaining the social distancing. So that is your responsibility. Then you should not touch your eyes, nose and mouth. So that is also important. Then another thing which I want to tell is the proper use of mask. You know that there are different types of mask, that is cloth mask. This cloth mask you can use at your in your hostel, because there are no patients, so you can use cloth mask, that is safe. And you can use this mask, this medical mask or surgical mask we can call this. So that you are familiar with this mask because you are using this in the ICUs and all. When you are posted, you are familiar with this. So this can be used when you are taking care of COVID negative patients. When you are taking care of COVID negative patients, there is we can use this medical or surgical mask. And if you are taking care of patients with COVID-19, or if you are taking care of patients who are at high risk for COVID-19 or a suspect case or a probable case, then it is better to wear N95 mask, because this is clearing uh, most of the microorganisms. This is manufactured in that way, that is 95% of the microorganism will not come inside. So that is about the mask. Then sometimes you can use a face shield. If it is required, you can use face shield along with the mask. You can use face shield. You will be wearing the mask and then you can wear the face shield, so that you will be double protected. So these all are required when you are taking care of suspect case or probable case or confirmed case. Otherwise there is no need to use N95 mask. So when you are wearing a mask, what you have to remember is, before wearing the mask you have to wash your face. That is very important. Sanitize your hand. Then from the cover you will be taking a mask and wear it properly. You may be knowing a nasal plate is there. Fix it properly and wear it correctly, and make sure that it is fulfilling its purpose. It must cover the nose, the mouth, and it must be under the chin. So that is very important. So after washing face, after sanitizing hand, we are wearing the mask and we are giving nursing care to our patients. So when it become dirty or when it is oiled, or after your duty time, you can remove the mask by holding the string and hold it like this, and then dispose it in the waste bin. And so if it is a N95 mask, you may have to reuse it because of the shortage of supplies and materials. Sometimes you have to reuse it. At that time, what you have to do is, you can when removing, you will be holding the string only. Don't touch the outside surface, because this surface is contaminated. So we are wearing the mask and we are protecting ourselves. So this outside is contaminated. So don't touch the outside. You can keep it when you come back from the clinicals to the room. You can keep the mask in a box, and later you can keep it in the sunlight, and so that it will get disinfected. So that is about wearing the mask. So then when you wear this N95 mask and when you wear the face shield, you will be facing so many discomfort. So that is a part of this. All the health workers are having the same experience, so you have to wear it. Then I'm going to explain about a day in your life. You may be seeing so many YouTube videos on a day in your life. So here also I am going to explain about a day in your life. So when you get up in the morning in the hostel, you will be getting up in the morning, and after that you will be going to the washroom for brushing your teeth. So you are getting exposed to contaminated surface everywhere, because hostel is a common facility. So there definitely there will be different contaminated surfaces. You will be touching the door handle of your room, door handle of the toilet, then switchboard. So all these areas are contaminated. So you have to carry a sanitizer. That is very important. You have to carry a sanitizer, and you must sanitize your hand very often. So when you go for brushing your teeth, don't keep your brush and paste and soap here and there. You can carry a container so that you can keep it there, and later you can sanitize the container. So in this pandemic, don't share any objects. We used to have a tendency to share so many objects in the hostel with our roommates. So don't share any objects. Keep it like this, and take it to the washroom and bring it back to the room. Then when you come back to the room from the washroom, you have to sanitize your hand and make sure that your hand is clean. Then you should not go to others room, and you should not share any objects, and you should cut short your nails, and you should not wear any ornaments. So all these things are very important. Then after brushing the teeth, you will be getting ready, and you will maybe going to the mess. In the mess hall, you have to maintain the social distance. There also you are getting exposed to so many contaminated surfaces like table, chair, and plates and all. So after all this also, you have to sanitize your hand. So in the mess hall, there will be social distancing. The hostel authority will maintain the guidelines, and they will follow the rules. So you are also are supposed to follow the rules of the hostel in order to avoid exposure to infection. Then after that, you will be getting ready. You will be getting ready to the college, or you may be getting ready to go to the clinicals. So when you go to the clinicals, before going to the clinicals, you will be taking all your PP, whatever it is required, like a mask and face shield, you will be taking. And after coming from the clinicals, you have to take bath. That is very important. So before going to the clinicals, you have to keep 2 buckets ready outside your room. So outside your room, keep 2 buckets. One bucket with the fresh dress to wear after taking bath, and the other bucket is to keep the used dress and wash the used dress. So after keeping everything ready, you will be going to the clinicals. So you have to take the pocket articles, essential pocket articles. You may have to take the identity card. So all those things you will be taking. So in the uniform you will be wearing, and you can keep a Ziploc cover to take the things in the pocket, so that you can later sanitize the cover and sanitize the pocket articles. It is better not to take your mobile into the clinicals, because it will get contaminated, and you may get infection from the contaminated mobile. So you can keep your mask, or you can keep your pocket articles in this Ziploc cover, and you can keep it in your pocket. So when after reaching the ward, you in your clinical area, in the area in which you are posted, there you must know the COVID-19 protocol of that particular ward or ICU, and you must update that knowledge, and you have to follow it. So in the ward, you will be going to the patient's bedside. So you will be having your own sanitizer with you, and you will be sanitizing your hand, and you will be going to the patient, and try to avoid unnecessary exposure. You can stand 1 meter away from the patient, so that you can stand at the foot end of the bed, so that it will be 1 meter distance. So at the foot, you can stand at the foot end without touching the side rails of the bed, and you can communicate with the patient. You can collect the history, and you can communicate with the patient, and after that you will be planning the care, and then you will be getting ready to do the procedures that has to be done. So all the required nursing care, maybe rice tube feeding or IV infusion or blood withdrawal, you have to do. So you will be getting ready with the articles in the treatment room, So everywhere you must remember that all the surfaces are contaminated. So in the room you will be assembling all the articles and you will be coming back to the patient. So after doing the procedure, while doing the procedure, you may not be able to stand 1 meter distance. You may be close to your patient. So at that time, what you must remember is you must tell the patient and the patient's relatives that they have to wear the mask properly, so that you also will be protected. So tell them to use the mask properly and tell them about the infection prevention and control measures. So you after that you will be carrying out the procedure, and after carrying out the procedure you will be returning all the articles to the treatment room. In the treatment room you have to clean all the articles and disinfect all the articles, and after all these things you will be washing your hands. So another important thing which I want to tell is soap and water is the best thing to kill the coronavirus, because the soap and water, when you wash with the soap and water, in the soap there is chemicals which can destruct the this lipid cover of the virus. So that is the best thing. So whenever it is possible you must wash your hands with the soap and water. So whenever it is not possible we can use sanitizer. And then another thing which I want to tell is, in the clinicals, don't manipulate your mask. Keep it like that. Don't touch your face. That is very very important. Then for tea break and all, it is better not to go for tea break. You can take tea break in the unit itself. That is, you can bring the lime juice or snacks there and you can have it there itself. Avoid unnecessary travel through the corridors. Avoid unnecessary travel through the steps and the lifts and all. So better to remain in the unit till the duty ends, till the posting is over. Then you may be touching all the case sheets and the register's records and all the records in the ward. So after that also you have to sanitize your hand, because this case sheets and registers will be contaminated. So after touching that you have to decontaminate or sanitize your hand. Then you will be touching the articles used by the patient, like thermometer, BP apparatus. You will be touching the trolley, you will be touching the cupboard. So all these surfaces are contaminated. So there is no need to be scared. Just sanitize your hand in between. That is enough. So that is all about the precaution that has to be taken in the ward. The next is, after reaching to your room, what you have to do is you remove the mask and keep it in that box. Later you can keep it in the sunlight. Then you will be sanitizing your hand. Keep the chappals outside the room. Then already the bucket is there to take bath, and the dresses, everything is kept ready outside the room. So you go to the bathroom and take bath and come back with the fresh dress. So after taking bath you must wash your dress which is used in the clinicals. That is, first you have to soak it with the soap and water, then you have to wash it properly, and then you can, if you want, you can use bleaching solution, that is 0.01% sodium hypochlorite solution can be used to soak the clothes. Soak it there for 30 minutes. So 0.01% sodium hypochlorite is not harmful for the dress materials. So soak it in that solution, and after half an hour you can squeeze it and you can put it in the sunlight. Keeping it in the sunlight is safe to kill the virus. So after that, again sanitize your hand and you can come back to the room. You can enter into the room. Now you are clean and there is no virus in your body surfaces. Then you have to clean your room frequently. That is, every day you have to, it is better to mop, not cleaning. It is better to mop your floor every day, and at least once in a week you have to wipe the windows and door handles and switches and all. That is very very important. You have to clean your room. Then if you are going to the college, there is chance of getting infection. There what you have to do is, inside the classroom you have to maintain the social distance, you have to wear mask properly, and you have to sanitize your hand properly. You may be touching the tables, chairs, books, attendance register and so many other contaminated surfaces. So sanitize your hand in between. You must carry your own sanitizer everywhere. And when you may be going to the library, there also you may be touching the book rack, touching the door handle, and touching the books. So after that also you have to sanitize your hand. Then in the college and the college premises will be kept clean, and the authority will make arrangements for cleaning and disinfecting the surfaces very often. That they will do. There is no need to worry about that. They will do that as per the guidelines. So what you have to do is you have to take your own precautions in order to prevent exposure to infection. Then if you are a day scholar, you may be using the public conveyances like buses and all. So in the bus also you must remember all the surfaces are contaminated. You have to hold the rail, otherwise you may fall. So inside the bus you have to hold the rail properly, otherwise it is not safe to stand still. So after that also what you have to do is don't touch your face and sanitize your hand properly. And after reaching home you have to take baths, then only you have to enter into the house. Then when you go to shops, you must remember that all the surfaces are contaminated because of the many customers coming and going. So what you have to do is when you go to the shop, you sometimes you have to select things, you may have to test the cupboards and all. So after getting out of the shop you have to sanitize your hand. And another thing which you have to remember is you purchase things in large amount in order to avoid frequent shopping. So it is better to avoid frequent shopping. So buy things for 1 month, next 1 month, so that there is no need to go to the shop frequently. Then next is the use of bank ATM. So the ATM machines will be contaminated, ATM that cabin will be contaminated. So there also there is no need to worry about that. You may hold the door handle, you may touch the ATM machine. After all this you have to sanitize your hand. Please remember that don't touch your eyes, don't touch your nose, don't touch your mouth, and sanitize hand frequently. Maintain social distancing. So that is enough to prevent this infection. So in the hostel you may would like to go to the church or temple or mosque. So it is better not to go into the public places. It's better to avoid crowds. If you want, you can attend so many online religious services are there. You can attend that, and there is no need to get exposed to unnecessary types of infections. So then if you have got an exposure to infection, so you know that I may be exposed to the COVID-19 patient, then what you have to do? What you have to do is you must do a retrospective analysis of that contact, that is how much distance you have maintained with that patient, COVID-19 positive patient, how long you were there, and what was the type of exposure. There are different types of exposure, that is high risk exposure, low risk exposure, etc. High risk exposure means you stood within 1 meter, you didn't wear a mask, and you touched the articles contaminated, articles used by the patient. So these are the different criteria for high risk exposure. So you have to think whether I had a high risk exposure or a low risk exposure, or I didn't have any exposure. So anyway, it is better to report it to the teacher and report it to the parents. So in a class I know that some students will be oversensitive and they are interested to make the things sensational. So I would like to advise you that there is no point in making the things sensational. It is your own responsibility to protect your health, and you take care of your health. So that is very, very important. Nobody else is responsible for your own health. You should not be careless. So some students, they may be careless about their personal health, and they may be less bothered about all these things. So to such students what I want to tell is, you should not underestimate a risk of exposure. So you must be cautious always. So and after all these precautions, if you become a COVID positive patient, there is no need to worry, because you know that most of the patients are asymptomatic or with mild disease or moderate disease. If you don't have a comorbid illness, you will be recovered fast, and there is no need, nothing to worry. So when we become COVID positive after the diagnostic test, what will be done? It will be informed to the local health authority, and the local health authority will advise us about the further proceedings. That is, sometimes home isolation will be enough, sometimes admission to the CFLTC may be enough, sometimes admission to the hospital is enough if the case is severe. So that is what is going to happen. So if you are in the home isolation, what you have to do is you must have a separate room in your home, and there must be adequate ventilation in that room. You must use separate articles, that is separate plate, glass, spoon, bucket, mug and everything. And you have the responsibility to clean your room, because you are not sick. You will be sometimes asymptomatic, or sometimes you may be having mild features of mild upper respiratory tract infection only. So then you have the responsibility to clean your room, you have the responsibility to clean your toilet, and it is your responsibility to clean your clothes, and avoid exposure to other family members. If there is a family member with comorbid illness, you must be very careful, and avoid visitors. You must take healthy diet. That is very important, because a healthy diet is very important for the immunity. So immunity is important to fight against this infection. And you must take adequate rest, and you have to do exercise, deep breathing exercises, so that your lung expansion will be adequate and your oxygenation will be better. Then what I want to tell is about your mental health. During this COVID time, we are not able to attend the family functions, we are not able to go for a movie, or we are not able to go to a restaurant. So we are lacking so many social gatherings, and which will affect our psychological health and social health. So what we can do is we can have a Google Meet with our friends. Every alternate days you can have Google Meet with your friends, so that you can share your experiences and you can share your feelings. Then you can in the relax, as a part of relaxation, you can view so many YouTube videos, useful, relevant YouTube videos. You can watch, like motivation talk, news channels, good news channels. And you can increase your knowledge also by searching WHO sites, CDC sites, and Government of Kerala and Government of India sites, in order to update your knowledge about the COVID-19 guidelines. So you must utilize your time effectively. In the home also, you must do workout, and the indoor workout activities are there. You can search home workout without equipment. You can search, and you can do so many exercises inside the home itself. That is very important, because you are lacking play and sports and all. And there is another thing is you can do yoga. That also, through the online, through the YouTube videos, you can follow the instructions of the masters and you can do it. Then other relaxation techniques and recreation activities you can do, that like cooking or gardening or some craft work, or you can paint your home. So all this creativity can be brought out during this COVID period. There are so many advantages also because of this pandemic. That is, we have adopted this online mode of education. We are more depending on the online videos and all other sorts of information. So in this pandemic time, there is no need to be scared. Anyway, you have to complete your studies, you have to uh, secure a degree. So it is better to live with the pandemic and take precautions, so that you and your family members will be protected and others also will be protected.